Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. Andrew Musgrove here. Hope you guys are doing well. You should be, because Newcastle United are through to the semi-final of the League Cup, having beat Brentford 3-1 up at St James's Park. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit it right now. Hit subscribe. Get into the comments. Let me know what you thought about Newcastle's performance tonight at St James's Park. They've secured their place in the semi-final of the League Cup. And can we start dreaming of Wembley? Not yet, not yet. There's some good sides potentially that Newcastle United will face, the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Liverpool, and then it's Manchester United or Tottenham. So it's not going to be easy. But Newcastle have shown that they can give any one of those teams a run for their money. So no need to be thinking it's a daunting task, not at all. Two-legged game, one at Newcastle United and one wherever they go to. So they have a chance to get through to the final if they can be on form, if they can be at the very best. And tonight they were at their very best without having to use up too much energy. And that's the second time in a week. Brilliant against Leicester, win, what was it, 4-0? And then brilliant there against Brentford, winning 3-1 without really having to get out of second gear. So two really good victories, two really good performances. Confidence boost throughout the squad, confidence boost running out across the fan base now. And yet they've not really used up too much energy, which is brilliant going into a really busy time with all the Christmas fixtures coming up. And I have to say, I thought the tone tonight was set before a single ball was kicked, and it was done by the team sheets. Eddie Howe, unchanged, stuck with the side that beat Leicester. Not really too much of a surprise. Meanwhile, Thomas Frank left out three of his biggest stars, three of his first teamers, and Nathan Collins, Brian Mbeumo, and Damsgaard. Now, Nathan Collins ended up starting the game because of a late change. But I think as soon as you saw that Brentford team sheet, that just gave Newcastle United even more motivation, even a bigger boost, because you kind of get a sense of how serious Thomas Frank is taking it. And now, look, they still had Wissa up top, who ended up getting a goal, still had some talented players starting, but you left some big names out. And for me, if you're a Newcastle United fan reading that team sheet, you're saying, okay, we've got this here. They don't fancy it. The manager's not really buying into it. Over to you, lads, to make sure you punish him for that. And Newcastle United did. And I think Thomas Frank actually might look back on this with a little bit of regret, because you saw the impact Damsgaard had when he came on in the second half, and Mbeumo as well got an assist for that Wissa goal. But Damsgaard was really influential in the middle of the park. He was pushing Newcastle United, and I think Frank might regret his choices, to be quite honest with you, because this is a 90-minute game of football. You can't play the long game here. It's not like you pick up a point and you say, great, we can build on that. You're either in or you're out, and Brentford are out, largely down to Newcastle's brilliance, but partly down to the fact that Thomas Frank played a much weaker side than we expected. So, yeah, I think he will regret it. But that being said, it didn't really matter what the Brentford side was. It was down to Newcastle United to beat what was in front of them. And they did do very convincingly. It could have been more than three. Sandro Tonali getting 2 goals, Fabian Schär tapping one in the second half, but there was 2 off the woodwork. Murphy, Barnes hit the woodwork, and a couple of other chances as well. And like I say, Newcastle United were just comfortable, really, 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 really comfortable, but dominant, clinical, and that's the key thing. 23 shots through the game, 5 on target to Brentford's 3 on target and 10 in the entirety of the game. Corners 8-5. Newcastle United, I think, just enjoyed the evening, really. The fans as well, nice atmosphere, fans with them, and now they've got a semi-final to look forward to. But on Sandro Tonali, I think Newcastle United have really been missing that goal-scoring midfielder. Bruno only got his first goal against this season against Leicester over the weekend. Joe Willock's had his problem with injuries. Joe Linton, not scoring too many goals. I think whichever midfielder they've currently got who can find that goal-scoring form is as nailed on to start week in, week out as anyone. As it is, I think Eddie Howe's probably found now the right balance in that midfield. Tonali, Bruno, Joe Linton. It looked like Tonali was playing a little bit more forward tonight than he was against Leicester, but I suppose him and Bruno will alternate. But again, the midfield three looked strong. Tonali, great to see him get 2 goals tonight. He looks world class. And look, Eddie Howe's had his critics about his approach to welcoming Sandro Tonali back into the side, but it might turn out to be the right decision, to be quite honest with you. Maybe Eddie Howe does know what he's talking about. Look, if this is what we're benefiting from now, is that delay in getting Tonali back into the starting 11, then hey, Eddie Howe knew what he was doing, and you pat him on the back. Great goals from Sandro Tonali. Wonderful finish for the first one to keep that low into the back of the net, and then the second one, really nicely worked corner, and Tonali side foots it into the back of the net. But again, we're seeing Newcastle United working on corners. We saw that a couple of seasons back where you didn't know what they were going to do with the set pieces, and they were always catching sides out. Didn't quite happen last season, didn't quite happen in the beginning of this season, but in recent weeks, something's clicked again, and it was another really nice worked routine. I liked how you had Joe Linton and co blocking the defenders in the middle of the box, which allowed Tonali the time and space to put one in the back of the net. Very, very well worked, beautifully executed, and a really, really nice finish from Tonali. Another corner into the box for the third goal. Finally falls to Fabian Schär after Brentford failed to clear the lines, and it's an easy tap into the back of the net. And as Newcastle United were just comfortable throughout. Yes, they conceded that goal. Yes, maybe the game had gone a little bit longer. Brentford may have grabbed the second, but you saw straight after Wissa scored, Newcastle go down the other end and very nearly score themselves, with Bruno trying to get a fourth. So the game was very, very open, but just bizarre from Brentford, really. Really, really bizarre. But Newcastle United have got the job done, and that is the important thing. Attention, though, turns to who they can get, and it is going to be a hard task to get to Wembley. We have to admit that. But Newcastle United have shown against Arsenal, who they've beat in the Premier League, against Liverpool, who they should have beat in the Premier League, that they can give them a good run for their money. Those two teams are into the next round, and then it'll be either Manchester United or Tottenham. Again, I don't think any of those teams mentioned there are too daunting. You could probably bet on Arsenal and Liverpool not playing their strongest side. Of course, their second side is still a pretty strong side, which could probably get into a top six. But that is something that Newcastle United will definitely try to take advantage of. The first leg will take place on the week that commences the 6th of January. And then I think it's the 3rd of February for the second leg. Let me know in the comments, do you want a home leg to be the first game, or do you want the home leg to be the second game? I remember correctly, the second leg was the home game the Newcastle United got to the final. And I think I would want that again. I think, it just means that if you need a kind of a really good performance, you need to claw something back from the first leg, then you have the 12th man of St James's Park to push you over the line. So for me, second leg is at home. That's what I would like to see. Of course, others would say the first leg, and you set the tone with a win at St James's Park. So do let me know in the comments. Let me know who you would like out of the teams that are in the hat. Like I say, Arsenal, they beat Crystal Palace 3-2 tonight. Crystal Palace, give them a really good run for their money. Looking at the lineup just quickly now, it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination a first choice starting 11 for Arsenal. So that might give you a little bit of insight into how Mikel Arteta might approach a semi-final. Liverpool beat Southampton 2-1 at St Mary's. And again, I don't think the Liverpool line was all that first choice like. Again, it wasn't, Morton, a lot of youngsters in there. Kwanzaa and Endo are the centre-backs. Gomez at left-back. Kelly back in goal. So by no means a first choice team by Liverpool. So it gives you a little bit of a feel for what Newcastle United might be facing should they draw either of those two sides, because you can guarantee anyhow will be playing his strongest side. But for now, we just look back on what was a great night at St James's Park, great atmosphere. Tonali, I think, really turned the page tonight with the goals. You hope he can build on the goals and keep adding goals to his game. Another good outing for everyone, really, and the confidence now going through the squad will be sky high, and you've got really winnable games coming up now. We said on the podcast that it was great to beat Leicester, but they need to beat Brentford, and then they need to beat Ipswich. They've done one of those things. Now let's go down to Portman Road and get victory over Ipswich, and that will cap off what will be a wonderful week. We can then celebrate Christmas, welcome Villa to St James's Park on Boxing Day and then head down to Old Trafford to round off the year. Hopefully, you never know with 6 points. They're winnable games. They really are winnable games. And it's all about that confidence now that's running through the side. And like we say, it'll be absolutely sky high. It really, really will. I mean, there'll be no Joe Linton for the game against Ipswich. So you'll have a little bit of time to rest up. Won't he, ahead of the Boxing Day clash against Villa. But other than that, you would imagine you would keep everything crossed. Everyone's come through fit and they're raring to go for what will be another tough game away from St James's Park against a side who are a little bit unpredictable, but very, very beatable. But I've got to keep my feet on the ground. But yeah, tonight, brilliant from Newcastle United. You have to beat what's out there in front of you, no matter how bad they are. Brentford were particularly bad in the first half. Newcastle were clinical. 2-0 up. Could have been more. Get a third. Job done. Yeah, and Newcastle United through to the semi-finals of the League Cup. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Eddie Howe and Newcastle United, and the way that Brentford played actually allowed Newcastle United to make quite a few substitutions as well. So more game time for William Masula, who had one chance through on goal. Probably look back on it and think he should have done a little bit better with it. Great last-ditch challenge from one of the Brentford defenders, but a good run from him. Wonderful ball from Fabian Schär over the top. Good touch, but it just allowed the defender back in. We saw Miguel Almiron for 13 minutes. He's still there. He's alive. We saw Harvey Barnes come on just out of the aftermark. He hit the post, as I said. And Joe Willock as well got 45 minutes under his belt, which would be absolutely key for him because you imagine he will replace Joe Linton in the starting 11 against Ipswich. And I have to say, Joe Willock has had not the best of times of recently, but he looked quite good tonight. I know, as we said, it was a Brentford side that didn't really turn up until it was too late. But I thought Joe Willock had plenty of running about him, and hopefully the half he got tonight will put him in good stead for that game against Ipswich on Saturday. And yeah, Newcastle through to the semi-final of the League Cup. Let me know your thoughts on tonight's performance. Let me know who you want in the next round. Who was your man of the match as well? I'm going to just bet everything I've got to go to and phrase that, actually. I'm going to say that everyone is going to say Sandro Tonali, I think. Yeah, probably. 2 goals. Look good. Look brilliant. Let me know. Thank you for watching. Give a thumbs up to the video. And I'll see you guys very soon.